What's good, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This video is focused on the changes to a lot of shock-based champions. In particular, the two we're going to focus off, well, one mainly, and that is Electro. There are substantial changes to champions like Storm and also to Nebula, but I want to focus on Electro because he's an old school champion and it's really cool to see some changes to him. So I got the announcement a couple of days ago that we're going to see improvements to the way that he interacts with shock. In particular, when he receives a shock debuff, he's able to increase his attack and also improve his energy resistance. And not to mention, obviously, his static shock is going to be slightly improved as well. But the question is, how does this all stack up? Is he worth then taking any further from a rank up perspective? What is really going to be done with him? Let's explore this a little bit more. As you can see, I rank 4'd this guy, and I was thinking to myself, like, is this a good decision or not? Well, there's rhyme to the reason, in that when I was doing the first experimentations as a 330, he just wasn't staying alive enough against Iron Man Infinity War when he hits off the L1. So as you know, he has to get a shock debuff effect on him in order to benefit from more positive passive effects. Man, I can't even speak. And these positive passive effects are here. See, I can sort of get it right. So what we want to essentially achieve is that when he goes up against a shock-based champion, and the one in discussion and the one I'm going to be featuring footage of is against an Iron Man Infinity War because of the L1 and putting on that significant shock debuff effect. However, it's going to take no damage. And because it's going to take no damage and theoretically power us up, you should be outputting and seeing a bit more damage from that. The whole kind of battle plays out in the way that I want, in that we're building up to the L1, we're getting hit by the L1. Then after that, it's a case of just going out and smashing the enemy. Hitting in loads of things with stun and stun again, and then just building up and as well applying in that L2, which did do a significant amount of damage. What I wanted to achieve to see is like if I could take him down to just about close to the 15%. After 15%, if you're going up against an Iron Man Infinity War, it does get a little trickier. But things went in my favor and we hit off a nice amount of crit, 7,900 to be exact, and picking up the win, which is absolutely tasty. But do I think that this champion therefore should get a rank 4 placement? And the answer is unfortunately no. Even though it does look like the champion does see some rework and improvements, the only time I'd say it'd be applicable to take this guy up any further would be if he was a 5-star or he was a 6-star, because of the way that the current meta is with the game. And unfortunately, it would only be against shock-based champions. Shock horror? Well, no, because the fact is you can only really get the power up that you need from being shocked. And let's face it, there's not a huge amount of champions in the game that do the shock damage, especially those more consistently and more frequently. Also, Nebula got a little bit of a rework in that when she gets a shock debuff, she's then able to sort of absorb that and then produce 5 electroshock charges. And if you've seen my previous Nebula video, you know that the way I like to do things with her is to then save up loads of charges, build up to an L2, hit off a parry or well-timed block, and then hit him with the L2, which then doubles the amount of shock debuffs on the enemy. But granted, hopefully I won't be going up against an Electro anytime soon, and the chances of that actually happening are slim to nil. Either way, maybe it was slightly regrettable to put this guy up to rank 4, but unfortunately for the purpose of recording this video, it was just getting smashed by being hit by an L1. As a 330, it was a case that I'd stay there and wait to get hit by the L1, and it would just completely wipe me out because the health pool was not there to survive. So that is the reason that he's rank 4 for the purpose of this video. But at the same time, I do like using 440s in different types of arena battles. So there's something there, I must admit. And at the same time, I had some science catalyst expiring, so yeah, there's some usage there for it. But at the end of the day, I probably will 550 him at a later date. Will he be used as arena fodder? More than likely. But at the end of the day, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this has been a rework? Would you prefer him as a 5-star? And let's face it, that's very difficult with him being only a featured Grandmaster based Crystal Champion, so it's difficult to get hold of him nowadays. But what are your thoughts? As well, there have been significant changes to the Thors, Thor Ragnarok, Standard Thor, and Thor Jane Foster. And just to clarify, because there has been a mention of this, they get reductions in timers. I know a lot of people were thinking that they got a increase in damage. But no, it's just a case of when they get a shock, the amount of time that it's on you is less. Only in Thor Jane Foster's case, in which that she takes less damage. But the forum post, which link is in the description, will clear that up. But leave your thoughts in the comment section about this champion Electro, and maybe some of the other shock champions, and how you feel about the way that immunities are playing out. Are we still needing a cold snap immunity? What are your thoughts in the comment section below? So that's been a video all about the changes that have come in the recent couple of days. I've been RichTheMan. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, and make sure to catch a live stream 1900 hours most days. Be there or be square. I should do a thing, be square. This is RichTheMan signing out. See you again.